imported data, let's say price library, or let's say database, price database. And then we also discussed about some constants, how you can import some of the constants. And then also labor and material, if you want labor and material, you can keep in CostX, right? And we were about to do a rate analysis then and there, but then we didn't have time to do that. So today we will start with that. But basically what we want to understand is with CostX, still we are doing 2D, remember. We can also build up a rate library, okay, maybe 2026, and then you can update later on with the market prices. Those are the BOQ rates. But if you want, you can also build up rate analysis then and there. So that's what we are going to learn. And also, if you want to calculate something like reinforcement or steel structures in terms of weight, kilograms. So what you normally measure is the length of each section, right? If you take H iron or I sections, you'll have different sections having various linear meter weight, kg per meter. There are different sections. So if you measure those sections, and then you can convert those sections, those linear meter measurements into kilograms very easily using constant. Let me show you, let me open and let me share the screen. Right, so we open default project and building called Muscat Hotel. Right, if you want to see the drawings, we start with foundation and then the level 1, level 2, and then we started measuring block work as well. Right, so we have all here. And when we introduce, okay, let's go to the workbook. Let's go to workbook. We have created a workbook called BOQ Hotel here, right? That's what we have been pricing. And if you take substructure, right? And here we use something called rates, right? So how did you brought this data into CostX? Through CSV file. So we have created CSV file. In fact, we have created an Excel file first and then converted into CSV file. How? File save as that is not part of CostX. That is just common sense. So you open the Excel file, and then when you save the Excel file, you can select the file format as CSV file. So you can convert Excel file into CSV format, and then you can import that CSV file into CostX. How? Go to File, Project Properties. Sorry. Go to File, System Administration, and there you have something called costing here, and then you have rate library. So what you do is basically if you want to insert something, you go and insert, right? You give a name and then click insert. Then you can, let's say, test, right? And then insert. Let's delete that. If you want to insert something new, right? What you do is, of course, you have to import a file from here. Import CostX CSV file, right? You can give a name here, but if you want to insert something, you need to bring it from here. You can see. So whatever the CSV file you have saved, you have to bring it. You have to save, and you have to import from here. Okay, so once that is done, it will be appeared here. Right. So once you are here, once you import to this rate library, you can see it here, the rates. Right. So that is what we did the other day. And then if you want to do some editing and all this is possible. And also there's something called constant. Here under general, you have constant. You can introduce some of the ratios if you want. Let's say in this case, we have introduced some reinforcement ratios. If you want to calculate the total tonnage of reinforcement for a given project, you can do a sample calculation and say for columns 275 kilograms per cubic meter. In this case, 0.275 tons per cubic meter. So you can introduce some of the constant, so that those constant will appear here. Those constants will appear here. Whatever the rates you have uploaded to a system administrator, it will appear here. So you can expand it, and then there will be categorized. There will be some categories based on how you have imported those Excel files or CSV files, right? And we also have imported some concrete market rates also, not only the BOQ rates, for us to do a bit of rate analysis, right? So this is rate library for bet 60, and this is the labor rates. Let's go and see. Steel fitter, 500 rupees per hour, right? Helper, 400 rupees per hour, and skilled labor maybe 450 per hour. So likewise, you can introduce some market rates also, so that you can use it during rate analysis. So that's what exactly I'm going to do. So this one, you can directly use some of the prices that you have in your company. For example, you will have some rate library. If you are working in a tender department, you don't always do rate analysis, right? And also, if you are working for a consultancy firm, when they prepare most of the time engineer's estimate or tender estimate, they don't want to go into like the rate analysis like a contractor's QS does, right? What they do is they go to some market prices and then price the BOQ. So that is what we call it as a tender estimate or engineer's estimate, right? So for that, you can have some BOQ rate libraries in here, and then you can drag and drop whenever necessary. So that's what we learned the other day. So that can come under different discipline like concrete, earthworks, formworks, PCC, right? So likewise, you can give based on your database, you can give some headings, right? So you can pick up the appropriate one when you want to do pricing, right? So let's go back. Now we will do a rate analysis for reinforcement here, because we know the reinforcement. Let's say we don't have a rate here now in our rate library, right? You don't have reinforcement rate here. You can see here concrete rates we have, formwork, earthwork we have, but we don't have a reinforcement rate, let's say, right? And if you want to have a reinforcement rate, you can include here. That's okay. You can update your rate library, right? That's okay. But there's an option here itself that you can come up with your rate breakdowns for, let's say, for any item. So I'm going to show you how to do a rate breakdown for reinforcement. Okay, so we have 94 tons of reinforcement, and let us do a rate analysis here. How do you do that? Now you have to double click here. Now what you do is normally you drag and drop here, right? From here, rate library, you can just drag and drop. Okay, now you can't do that because there's no comparative rate here for reinforcement in all diameters. So what I do is I need to come up with some sort of rate analysis here. So how do I do this? To double click this, and you will see similar to, now we are in level 3 in the rates column. Right, it is the rate column now. Right, earlier when we in the BOQ here, right, what we do is we go to quantity and double click and we go to the measurement sheet. Remember that. That is the measurement sheet. Now here is the rate sheet. Right, you can do your rate analysis here, not here. Right, so let us double click on this and let us quickly do a small rate analysis for that so that you will also can understand. I hope everyone should follow me. Right, so I'm going to do a rate analysis, okay? Let us take 1,000 kilograms or in other words, 1 ton of reinforcement steel, right? Okay, so material, let's say I'm just typing it, right? Like you do in Excel. So materials, I'll do a underline. I hope everyone to open this now, right? Just follow me. So material, let's say reinforcement steel, right? How much we are going to take? 1,000 kg, okay? Right. This is material. So you need to get the material prices from the market, correct? That's how you do rate analysis. So reinforcement steel. So I got the material prices here. Breakdowns, labor. Okay. Here you can see here material, steel. Right. This is the tonnage, right? So this is the tonnage. We have to change this one into sorry, this is kilogram price. So we have to change this to okay, this is 1 ton. Okay, we'll do it for tonnage, 1 ton, right? Let's say ton, and you have to put the rate. You can do it manually, or you can drag and drop here. Let's say, okay, that is per kg. You can see if you want to change this one, right? You have to go and change the constant there. So let's do that. If you want to change this to tonnage, right? File, system admin, costing, rate paid down, material, okay? We want to change this to steel, yeah. Edit. Tons. Rate is, let's say for ton, 225,000 Sri Lanka rupees. Update. Right, so 1 ton is 225,000 because 1 kilogram is about 225 rupees. So that is done. Update. Okay, now you can close. Right. Now you can see tonnage price has been updated. Or can you do that? Go to constant, file system administrator, costing, sorry, rate library. You have uploaded this rate library material and say edit. And now you can edit whatever you want to. I take this one and say edit. And then you will see this dialog box. That is where you change the unit to kilograms, sorry, tons, and rate has to be then 225,000 per ton. And update and close. Okay. So I'm not going to do that again. It's there already. So what I do is I can drag and drop it here. Update. Right. So I'm doing a rate analysis per ton. Okay. So I've taken reinforcement steel 1 ton 1 ton is costing 1 ton is costing about 225,000, and this is my material price. But then what else you need? Not only reinforcement, right? You need binding, for example, binding wires. You need the binding wires. How much of binding wire per ton? Let's say, since you have uh, all the records in your company, let's say I will take about 250 kilograms per ton. Okay, so that is also, let's say, in tons, or you can say kilograms, that's okay. 250 kilograms there. And binding wire prices you need, right? Binding wire prices, yeah, I have already given as 30 rupees per kg. These are not realistic figures now. Okay, I've just taken some figures. Right. So price of binding wire per kg is this much. Okay. So per ton, I have assumed, you can't assume really, you should have the records. Let's say you need 250 kilograms of binding wires, but 1 ton of reinforcement, because you need to tie down the reinforcement with the binding wires, right? So that is the material. And then you might need spaces because they are not being paid.
Pending only. Okay. After check, I'll inform you.
Sorry.
We copy these files, sir. And the other data, you have to put your ID, then you will get. The work code managed updation pending only. Okay. After check, I'll inform.
Manahan, your mic is unmuted. Oh, that is fine. So there will be spaces and chairs, right? So based on your experience, you can add a certain percentage. Let's say from the value, right? Let's say from reinforcement steel, you need about 5% of the chairs. So you can say here, you can introduce equation here, but there are no functions like in Excel. So what you need to do, let's say, if you want to give, let's say, for spaces and chairs, if you are taking, um, let's say, a certain percentage from this, right? So what you do is you have to type H3. That's how you have to do. Into 15%. Let's say you are taking 15% as chairs and spaces. You can give equation, but the problem is, unlike in Excel, right? You can't give like I mean, you have to basically type the equation here, because there are no equations in this what do you call? Okay, you have auto sum, and there are functions available here, right? But not all the functions like you see in Excel. You can see here, you don't see all the functions here, right? So even sum is not here, right? So what we used to do is basically the easiest way is you just type the equation here like this. If you want to take 15% of H3, H3 is the reinforcement value, right? And you can allow certain provision for the spaces and chairs. I have allowed 15% of H3. H3. You need to just type, right? So can you come up with this now quickly as material? And then I'll put labor, right? And then maybe plant. because we need bar bending machine, for example. Correct? Labor, skilled labor, unskilled labor. And assume this is with the transportation, okay? This 225,000 is including the transportation. Otherwise, you can add transportation also as an item. But here, I'm not going to do that. If you want, you can allow even wastage. But you can allow wastage on, let's say, 5% on everything, because you need to include the wastage into the rate build up, right? So what you do is you have to give H3, H4, H3 plus F4 plus H5 into, let's say, 5%. You need to just type it. That is possible. Right, so I have given 5% wastage. Right. So spaces and chairs and wastage 5%. So we have looked after the material part. Now we'll come back to labor. Labor, let's say steel fitters. Let's say 40 hours. And hourly rate of steel fitter, you can get it from here, because here you have steel fitter 500 rupees per hour. You can drag and drop here. Right. You have unskilled labors, right? You need unskilled labor also. Let's say 50 hours. And sorry, the other way, 16 hours, let's say. I've taken some arbitrary figures, right? This may not be correct. I just wanted to show you. And then for the skill helper or skill labor, you are paying 400 rupees per hour. Right. So labor part is okay. Now plant, bar bending machine. Unfortunately, I have not added any plant here, bar bending machine. You can include, let's say, so many hours, let's say 15 hours of bar bending machine. Sorry, 15 hours of bar bending machine at the rate of, let's say, 800 rupees per hour. That's it. What else? Now this is your cost. Right now you have to add. Now you have to add your overhead and profit, correct? This is the cost, overhead and profit. Now you can add overhead and profit here itself if you want. Right, you can say take auto sum. Yeah, you don't, when you click, it doesn't highlight like in Excel, but you can see from here H H3, it has to be H3 to H14, correct? H3 to H14, and you have to take let's say 20%, and that is your overhead and profit. Let's say 20%. So you have got materials, you have got labor, you have got plant, and you have got overhead and profit. You have to add as a percentage. For that, right? You have to introduce an equation, sum H3 to H14. H14 is here, H3 is here. So you get the total and get 20% of that. And that is your rate. You don't have to see the total here. You don't see the total here, but if you go back, you see the total here. 381,555 per ton. And the value is, of course, 35 million. That's how you do. When you double click, you see the rate breakdown. You can keep your rate breakdown, but then what happens when you update your rates, like skilled labor, unskilled labor, reinforcement steel, binding wire rates, the automatically this tonnage, the reinforcement rate per ton will be changed automatically. So that is the beauty. You understand now? Now you have priced the BOQ in three different ways. One is using the rate library directly. Secondly, uh, using some of the market prices and then um, analyzing the rate then and there using the market rate. So market rate can be imported into CostX like this, or you can have a rate library. If you have in your organization, you can import the rate library through CSV file into CostX and keep it. Right. And also you can have market prices of material, labor, plant, so that whenever you want to do a rate analysis within the CostX itself, you can do that as well. Right. So this is how you come up with a rate breakdown in CostX. Right. Can you quickly do this and let me know when you are done? What is important here is to understand there's no much flexibility like in CostX, but still you can introduce some equations here. Here you have some functions. And then, of course, you can just type the equation here. Here we have introduced wastage, right? You can see here. I have just used some manual equation H3, H4, H5 into 5%. But when you click, you don't see these cells are highlighted like in Excel. That doesn't happen in CostX. That's why I said it's not exactly CostX, but sorry, it's not exactly Excel, but it is something similar to Excel. You see this, you get the final rate similar to my rate. I'll give you 1 minute to complete this exercise. Especially those who are doing, those who are working in the tender department in a particular organization, right? They can use CostX as a complete package. They can also prepare the BOQ, or they can do the measurements and then prepare the BOQ, and then you can use rate libraries to price your tender, right? So you can do the full, I mean, all the cost management, tender estimate through the CostX, right? Then you can build up your rate breakdowns. You can change whenever necessary. And you can change the market price so that estimate also will be updated automatically. So everything is possible.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
When we purchase the CostX, full package mean, do we need to purchase that mean 3D measurement, those things?
Yes.
Usually we don't do that one. With
Uh,
normal basic one, can't we do the calculation like this?
You can do the calculation, but then you have to have the workbook.
Yes.
Can you remember when I explained CostX at the very beginning? I
Yes, yes.
introduced some. I have explained some products in the CostX. Since you have asked the question, let me show you. That will
3D to
be
4D, 5D one, right?
exactly. No, no, not 4D, 5D. It's all about 5D. When it comes to CostX, it's all about 5D. But there are different products in CostX. Let me show you. If you go to this introduction, right, these are the packages available. So these are the software options available. Standalone license. So we are using standalone license here, but educational license version. But here
Okay.
you
I
can
will
see,
buy, okay, standalone. Then,
yeah, then you have to select which product you are going to buy. If you want to buy RIBA CostX complete, you have all the features here. That's why I have put ticked here. It has 2D drawing measurement, 3D measurement, auto revisioning, which we are going to learn, estimating spreadsheets, that is a workbook, professional
yes, yes.
reports, subcontractor comparison. So if you want all the features in your product, you have to buy this product, which is very expensive. It will cost you about 1,600 server package, the server license. But then if you
Mhm.
don't need 3D measurements in your organization, or let's say if you are buying 5 licenses, you don't need to have 3D measurement in all 5 licenses, right?
Mm.
So you can buy a
Yes.
kind of a combination, maybe two licenses from the complete one, maybe another two from this CostX Core, which has only 2D measurements, and then spreadsheets, workbook, and reports and subcontractor comparison. It doesn't have auto revisioning function and 3D takeoff. So you might not need, because that is why it is cheaper. And then there's another product called CostX Quantity. You have only the quantity, 2D, 3D, and auto revisioning. You can't produce any report. You don't have the workbook there. So based on your company requirement, you can get a combination of these licenses.
Yes. This so I plan to buy personal one, but
Mm.
second one, but auto revision is not coming, right?
Not coming. So you
That
don't
is the
you
problem.
don't have the auto revisioning, but that is an essential part of CostX, right?
That
I
mean,
think I recommend this one, but in a commercial environment, if you, in a company environment, you can have a combination of, let's say, complete CostX, maybe 5 licenses, another 3 from here, maybe another 2 from here, or likewise, depending on your staff. Since you have the full license anyway, and you can do all the calculation from here, and then produce a CostX using the other licenses. Correct? If you are working
yes.
in a server environment, you can buy these products, and you can carry on your estimate, sorry, the measurement part here, and then you can take another license. You can use another license, another computer, in other words, to
Mm.
do auto revisioning and all the other things. So for an organization, you don't need all the licenses from this one here. But for a
Yes.
person, of course, I would recommend you to buy this one, because you can't go back. You buy this one and then you suddenly realize that you don't have 3D options and auto revisioning. Then what is the point?
Auto revision is essential, right?
Yeah, auto revisioning is also very important, because when the drawings are revised, or 3D is revised, you can then calculate the revised quantities very easily. I will show you that. Not
You have not
maybe not.
done that one,
No,
right?
no, no, no.
So far you
I'm
not done, right?
no, no, no. I
Ah,
have to do the auto revisioning
when we
maybe next
upload
week.
the revised drawing, the previous measurement is taken auto, right?
Yeah, I
That
will
means
show
that
you.
is, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay. In other words, let's say you have now you have prepared a BOQ for this, right? Now
Yes.
let me close this now. Now you have prepared a BOQ. Now you have prepared a BOQ for this drawing, correct?
Yes.
You have prepared a BOQ for this drawing. That is what it is here, correct?
Yes.
Now this is the BOQ basically. If you go to substructure,
Hmm.
you will see a BOQ, right? Now let's say this drawing has been revised. Foundation layout now has been revised. Now, do you think that I have to redo the measurements?
No.
Under normal circumstances, yes.
Yes.
If you are using Excel, probably you will have to do the measurements. But in CostX, you have a feature called auto revisioning. That means you can update the quantities based on the revised drawing. I will explain you, and that is an important aspect in CostX. You don't have to recalculate all the quantities again. Right, so that is why we call it as auto revisioning. So I'll be explaining this one next week, not today.
Okay.
Yeah, good question you ask. Right, so coming back to my previous one, I have now shown you how to do a rate analysis within CostX. Right, has everyone completed this? And if you need any explanation again, I can explain you, but I would like you to get these values as it is, and from this you have to drag and drop here. So this rate analysis I have done for 1 ton. Are we done? Can you drop me a message? Good. Malinder, Tusit, about others? Is Siva there? Dushan, are you there? Just drop me a message so I know that you have understood the concept. Later on, you can do some experiment, okay? During now you'll be watching this one later during the middle of the week, so you can do some experiment, right? When you practice it again. For now, I want you to understand. Sorry, I have put the equation in the wrong cell, but it's okay. I'll copy this one here. And I don't see a total here, but I'll see a total in the rate. Yeah. That's how it is anyway. I don't have to take the total here. I don't know where the total is getting from the system, but if you see the total here, you can just see the total here down 381,551, and that is the total you will see here. That is how CostX has been programmed. So I don't have to put the total to see the total. Okay, now, okay, good. Right, so I'll come out from this now. Now I have the BOQ like this, okay? I have the BOQ and basically I have the estimate. Let's say I have measured everything. I have measured everything. I don't want to measure any finishers. Okay, I don't want to measure any finishers. I have shown you how to do the measurements, area measurements, right? Counting also I will do now. Okay, windows I have counted, if you can remember. So I have covered all the principles that are necessary to complete the finishers. Because for finishers, you will have F1, F2, F3, and so on. That is flow finishers, and skirting SKT, SKT1, SKT2, SKT3 or something. Ceiling C1, C2, C3. So you have to measure the reflector ceiling from ceiling plan, ceilings from reflector ceiling plan, flooring from the floor finishers, right, and walls from the wall finishers. You just measure the area, and then create dimension groups accordingly, and then you have to put into the BOQ. Simple as that. So don't expect me to measure finishers, because that is why I have taught you how to do the area measurements. Okay. Right. So let's say you want to take a backup. Let's say you have done it. You have done this exercise at your home or at your office. Now you want to take a backup. So did you save this file anywhere, anytime? No. Even if you just close it now without, you don't have any save button here, right? You don't have any save button here, and you don't have to use Control S save, right? Everything is saved automatically to the last minute, last second. Even if you just close this by mistake, all the data will be there as it is. So that is the beauty of CostX again. You don't have to even save. It is automatically saved online. I mean, online, real time. Let's say you want to take a backup of this file because you want to take it to, you want to take home because you have some night work, right? You have to go home and work and bring it back to the office when you come the next day. How you take a backup of this? How you take a backup of this? You can take the entire backup, whatever the drawing, and then you have created basically the workbook. So in other words, we have created the BOQ and the estimate itself. Now you want to take a backup, and let's say you want to take this home and you have to work tonight, so that your boss will ask this tomorrow morning. Okay, so you have to take a backup. So this is how you take a backup. Remember, right? There's something called import and export in CostX. We need to understand these two words, import and export. What do you mean by import and what do you mean by export here? Right? Taking backup is an import or export? What do you think? Anyone can guess?
Export.
Export. Remember, when you are living in a country, export means you are sending something abroad, overseas, correct? Importing is you are getting something to your country from other countries. So similarly, you need to now we are in CostX. You want to export some files because you need to take a backup of this, what you have done. You need to export this one into, let's say D drive, or maybe USB, maybe whatever the portable hard drive. You need to take a backup. So the function is called export file. You can see here, import export here. Now, which file you want to export? right? So let us take a backup, okay? Practice. Let us practice this and as well. Now, file. Take an export. Now you can see here, if you want to export building to EXF, external, right? So choose the building you want to wish to export. Choose a file name and path to your exporting building. Steps to select the database to include in the export. Okay. Now you want to take the building or entire project. Now, can you remember we are working here again? We are working in Hotel Muscat building. Our project is default project, correct? Our project is default project, and I have created a folder called Muscat Hotel, which we call as a building within the default project. So that's how we have done the folder structure. So what it is asking is whether you need the full project to be exported or only the Muscat Hotel to be exported. Either way, you can do both. Export, let's take the building itself for the moment. Okay, let's take the building itself. Export, and you need to now show which one it is. Right, I'm going to take a backup of Muscat Hotel, correct? That is what I've been waiting for, or I've been working on. So it is under default project, obviously, and Muscat Hotel. So this is what I'm going to export, not import, export. Right? So I have to select. So can you remember? File, export, and then I have selected the building only. And then you will see this, and then you have to select. And you see what happens. It will ask you, okay, where to save now, where to export, or where to take a backup. So I will say, so since I have created a folder for batch 60, so I'll say backups. Okay, I have created a subfolder called backup here already. So I'm going to save here. Can you also create a folder called backups within your CostX material? Right, take a backup and create a backup folder and select that one and say you don't have to do anything, right? It goes as EXF file. It is called CostX exchange file. CostX exchange file. I didn't select it, it came automatically again, right? So I go to file, export building, and then it will ask, oh, which one you need to export. So I'll have to select this one or this one. So I'll select Muscat Hotel one and select, and then it will ask you where to save. So I'll say B60 and under a folder called backups, because I have already created a backup subfolder, and say save. And it will ask you even password, right? If you want to protect the file with password, you can give a password and confirm password. You know all these things like you do in Excel also, you can give a password, right? So you don't have to do anything else other than giving a name. Export type fine, and okay. And you see what is happening in the background. Something is happening, right? Taking a backup. Okay, export complete. Okay. Now you see when I go there, right? I'm in a batch 60 backup, and I'll see Muscat Hotel backup is being created. So 2nd of May at 9:26, I have taken a backup. Right. So you can take this one into your USB and go to the office or go home and work in your laptop now. Assuming that your laptop also has CostX, compatible CostX, right? Version wise. And you can take that backup and to your USB and work in your laptop at home and bring it back to your office, and then you can now import now. You can import this one into your CostX. Now, since I have exported, what I'm going to do now, can you also export it? Okay, first, can you export it? So in other words, taking a backup, okay? You're taking a file, you are taking a backup file. And save wherever you want to save. How did you do that? Okay, go to file, export, and export to building, and then you have to show what you have to export. So select, and then you have to show which folder you have to save this one. You just, otherwise you select whatever or wherever you want to save location wise and just save it. And you will see that file as EXF file. It's a special file. It's a CostX file basically. You can't open it in any other software because it's a CostX file. You can't open in Excel, you can't open in Word because it has drawings, it has measurements, it has rate buildups, right? So it is EXF file. Right. Now, since you have created EXF file, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to delete this file from, I have already taken a backup, right? Make sure you have taken a backup, okay? And I'm going to delete this now. How? Let's say I just wanted to show you how to import. That's why I'm going to delete this. Okay. So I have taken a backup. I'm going to delete this building now. And I'm going to import that backup back to the CostX. I just want to show you three functions. One is how to delete a project, how to export the data, and again, how to import back to CostX. Right, so I have done exporting now. Now I'm going to delete the file. How do you do that? You can say file delete. Deleting building must will delete else it will work. Are you sure to wish to continue? I say yes. Gone. Now it is gone. Okay, now I have closed. Okay, let me open this one. You can't delete that is while it is open, right? Okay, that has been deleted anyway. Now you can see the project has been deleted because I have created something called Muscat Hotel, correct? I don't have it now. How do you do that? File, delete, and then you have to select the one that you need to delete and just select and delete. Okay. Right. So I have deleted now. I have taken a backup. I have deleted. Now I need to import now. Import means you are bringing the file from somewhere else to CostX. Earlier, we have sent the file from CostX to D drive, let's say. Okay, wherever you have saved it, or maybe USB. Now from the USB, I'm going to import the file back to the CostX, back to my office computer, in other words. How do you do that? Go to File. Now I use the opposite function called import. Now import cost data. You can see the arrow is in, it's coming from outside to the computer, right? I don't need as a copy, I need as a data, right? I need to now show the backup file that I have created. It was this, so backup, this one, right? So I select and open. Yeah, I say yes. Default project, yes. You see what's happening. Now it is coming back to, yeah, import completed. Okay. Now you just double click on this. Now you see again Muscat Hotel. But if you just open, you will see the last data is there. We have been doing Muscat BOQ reinforcement, right? So let's double check whether it is there. Yeah, it's there. Oh, here we go. So it is the same file we have imported back to CostX. Earlier, we have exported the file to USB or maybe hard drive, external hard drive. Now we have brought it back to the CostX. Right, so that is what we call as import and export. So in other words, taking a backup of data, that is export. Right. Again, taking those information back to your laptop is import. Can you practice that? You can see these two projects we have created. One is accommodation building, and other one is Muscat Hotel. That is what we have been working on under project called default project. Here also default project. So this is what we have imported and also exported. Muscat Hotel. So can you practice this function? This is important. How to take a backup and then reload that backup again. Right. I hope it's clear. We have just learned how to take a backup of CostX file into an external drive or USB or wherever, and then you bring it back to CostX. That is called import, export and import. And you know how to delete a file. if you want, file, or how to delete a project or how to delete a building, basically. So when you click delete, it will ask you whether you need the, now since you are within the Muscat Hotel BOQ, right, it will ask you, okay, which one to delete. Okay, because it will take this as Muscat Hotel as the default, and it will assume that I'm going to delete the current one. I'll say yes, then it will be deleted. Okay, if not, you just close this and then open CostX. But you can delete from here also. But you just close this and say file, delete, and then you can select this one or this one. You can delete anything and select. That is also possible. If you are already within the project or within the building, so CostX will assume that I'm going to delete that particular building that I'm working on. But in this case, now I have got one project, default project, but two buildings within that project. So it will ask you which one to delete now. I have to just select it. Now let's say I have selected here, select and delete. Now I want to import, isn't it? Because I don't have now the Muscat Hotel building. So I need to import file, import Muscat Hotel. That is a backup that I have created. Yeah, I'll say, yeah, building is Muscat Hotel and the project is default. Nice, I'm back. So you see a blank screen here. When you double click on this, you will see both the projects or both the buildings, single project. And I'll open Muscat Hotel. I hope it's clear. Right. Now we have measured the BOQ, we have estimated or we have priced the BOQ. Now we have taken a backup, right? We have done some rate analysis within here. Now we have to print this, correct? And that is what we call as reports now. You will see here the report icon is appearing in the workbook tab only. You don't see in the revision, you don't see in the dimension, you don't see in the drawings, you don't see in the home. It is here, workbook. Workbook is essentially the BOQ, correct? Now let's say if you want to take a printout of this summary page, right? Any current view, what you need to do is you have to go to workbook. Anyway, you are in workbook anyway, and you have to say report. When you click on the tiny arrow, you have to say print workbook to report, right? Or print current sheet to report. Current sheet is this, correct? This is your current sheet. Or let us try with that. Print current sheet to report. You'll see what happens, right? And then you can take up. You have print options like how do you want it, right? Whether it is in the landscape or okay. Those questions obviously you will know when you want to take a printout. The printer will ask you certain what do you call settings here. Report options, if you want to give a report title, let's say test. I just want to give a test, okay. Building name is default, project name is default project, building is Muscat Hotel, details, let's say tick, date, time, and if you want to print, you can just print. You can take a printout, or if you want to take the preview, it will look like this. It will look like this. You can see the test here, right? And the project name and the building name, right? Details, if you want to type anything here, you can do that. And here it is not landscape. If you want to make a kind of a export to a PDF, you can do that. Let's say, right? Current page. Let's take desktop, file name, test, save. It will look like this. But why it is this way? Because I have not taken landscape, I think. I've taken portrait. There are no enough space for me to print in a portrait, right? So that is reporting. Report, print current spreadsheet to report. Okay. Here I have not taken orientation. I have taken landscape, right? But it shows as a different thing. It was portrait. Let's see. And having said that, you have a small issue with the educational version. Remember, all the printing facility, report facilities are not given in the educational version. So if you purchase the commercial version, you will have a lot of printing options. You don't see all the options here in educational version. Otherwise, you have, okay, page settings and so on. So that is one of the reasons that is not coming on the landscape here, because otherwise people will use the educational version for commercial purposes. That's why. Right. Now let's go to the substructure BOQ. Right. This is your BOQ basically, isn't it? Right. Earlier, what we saw was the summary page. Now let's say you want to take a printout of this. Right. You want to see a printout of this. Again, while you are in this window, you can go to report and say print current sheet to report. And again, you can give a report title like what I did earlier, test. So you can say BOQ substructure, BOQ sub. Or you can say substructure, just substructure, okay? And whatever the details and preview. You can see here. Right. Now you must be thinking, okay, how ugly this is. Right. You can't take a printer because there are empty lines here. And then there are numbering system. Okay. And then you can do bit of editing. And also remember, you don't see the balance part. I will show you why. I'll come back to the reports later on. I just want to give you some introduction on the reports today, but I'll give you complete brief about reporting later, right? When we know everything. Now, quantity, unit, rate, and the subtotal. Basically, what you need is that, right? So this is not the BOQ. Basically, this is the engineer's estimate or tender estimate, right? And in the report, there are options that you can eliminate this empty or blank rows. You don't have to. This is current view. As it is, this is how it will look like. But that doesn't mean that your BOQ will look like this. You can edit the report, right? This is as it is, but then you can edit the report. When you say report, the BOQ, right? So this is how you will see this as it is. And we know it is not nice, right? This numbering, everything can be given automatically, remember, right? So if you want to see how it will look like as it is, this is how it is. So go to concrete, and say workbook report, print sheet to report, sheet. And if you want to see the preview again, same. Then you will see the concrete section of the BO. It's not much, therefore single page. And the numbering has been given automatically for all the lines. Right, so that is the report. And then you have something called print workbook to report. Entire workbook. Now earlier sheet by sheet. Correct? Now print workbook to report. That is a different scenario. That is a different scenario. I will explain that in a minute. So before I go into that, can you practice workbook report, print current sheet to report, and try different options, right? And if you have a real printer, you can give your printer here, let's say LaserJet, and then preview. Okay, paper size. Here. And now you can see, earlier I think I have not selected the paper size. So if you want to print as a landscape BOQ, you can do that. And you can generate the PDF here. Or you can take you can save this. Right, you can do whatever you want to do. But the problem is, I know it's not nice because I have not done any editing here. But then CostX allow you to edit your own report by removing unnecessary line in between, and even you don't have to give the numbering can come automatically. That's why I said when you prepare the BOQ, you don't have to think about the numbering A, B, C, D, E, F, and so on. So that will come automatic. There are options to consider. But having said that, educational license does not give a lot of flexibility in producing reports. It doesn't have all the facilities like you see in commercial version. Right. Can you produce this report? You are in the concrete section, print current sheet report, and then you have to select printer and the paper size. If it is in landscaping, just landscaping, and then report option. If you want to have a heading, you just type the heading here, right? And any detail, let's say revision 1 or whatever, then you can, let's say report test details, let's say revision 1 and today's date, blah, blah, blah. Then you can take a review. You can see here, details are revision 1. Sorry, it is test and the project name and building name. So you don't have to do any page settings, remember. That is the beauty. You don't have to do any page settings. Page settings will happen automatic. What happens in CostX is nightmare, after preparing the BOQ, right, when you do the page settings in one computer, right, when you take a copy of the same thing to another computer, the page settings will go for 6, right, unless you are working on a server environment. So page settings will be different from computer to computer. So it's very, very difficult to do the page settings, especially if you are working for a consultancy firm and if you have to prepare a final BOQ for a final print, it will take, it will be a nightmare. So what we do is normally we convert into a PDF and take printouts. But here, you don't have to do that. You don't have to do any page settings. First settings will come automatic. And if you want to remove these unnecessary lines, blank line, you can do that. Now I'm going to do that. Right. So that is called report print current sheet report. Now there's another one. Right. If you want to print the BOQ now, right, you have to go to print workbook to report. Now this is sheet by sheet, right? Earlier it says current sheet. So you don't see the entire BOQ here. You will see section by section. Concrete section, substructure section, summary page, doors and windows section. That is here. But if you want to see the entire workbook or entire BOQ, you have to click on this print workbook to report. Now we'll see something. Correct? Now you will see something. And there are plenty of default BOQ settings and estimate. You can see this is the BOQ. And then estimate. And then you have subcontractors comparison. Right? So this custom, so this cannot, this can be edited. But in educational version, whenever you see a custom report like this here, it does not allow you to do anything. We can edit only the standard reports here in educational version. Right. So what I do here is again, just to take one step back. If you want to create the, if you want to print the entire workbook or entire BOQ, not the sections, so the command would be workbook report, print workbook to report. Now you'll see so many types of reports, or in other words, templates already given in the CostX. So what you need to do is you need to select a template already given. Let's say if you want to do a Muscat Hotel BOQ and it's a standard report, then you can edit it. Right? So what you need to do is you can generate the report, or you can take a copy of the report, because educational version does not allow you to generate the report. You can generate, but you can't edit later on. You can't edit. Therefore, you can take the standard report. That's fine. Now, for example, okay, let's generate this report as BOQ, because you need the BOQ only. So let's say generate. You see what happens. Okay, report title, blah, blah, blah. So all the details are correct, and then see the preview. This is how you get the BOQ. You see, automatic numbering, you can see substructure A, A1, A2, A3. Where are the blank lines? All gone. And you have the collection page also automatic. You understand now? So this is the standard report that you are going to get. Substructure 10, 11, 12. So numbering has been given automatic. You see the entire BOQ is here now. It's not only the section. You can see substructure, now concrete. Concrete start with B now. Even there's something called autocode. Autocode has given as B and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Right? You can see wherever we have a number here, quantity, you have a number for the item also. And it goes on. Your entire BOQ is here now. Now you can close it, right? You can see the windows. Right, now you can generate that BOQ, no problem. You can generate, but then you can't do any editing. You have to accept as it is. But then that is not good enough, isn't it? Because there are so many issues here. Why? You can see here format is wrong, right? And the collection page, and let's say, yeah, here there are no figures, for example. You can see you need to do a bit of editing. So you can't take the standard one as it is, because this is basically incomplete. Yeah.
Sir, one small doubt.
Yeah. Good.
Sir, in the reports, suppose we are using example. For example, if we take reinforcement, if you use reinforcement from local manufacturer, Emirates Steel, what will be the cost of the project? Instead of that, if you use Turkish steel, what will be the cost of project? Is there any option in the reports about if you select supplier one, this will be the project cost, local steel manufacturer, international steel manufacturer, if you select supplier two, supplier three, like that, is there any chance to get report?
It's like this. If you want, okay, there's something called subcontractor comparison. If you want
Sorry, sir?
subcontractor, there's an option called subcontractor comparison. Let's say you are calling for a, let's say uh, let's say you are calling
Example,
quotation
steel.
from multiple subcontractors for steel, right?
Yes, sir.
Then you can report
Yeah.
here subcontractor. I'll generate a report called subcontractor analysis. Okay.
Okay.
But the problem is it does not work with the educational version. Otherwise, you should be getting a report showing subcontractor 1 price, subcontractor 2 price, subcontractor 3 price for the same item. So what you were asking me can be done
Okay.
in subcontractor analysis, but the problem is I can't show you because it does not work with the educational version. That's why I said custom reports are not working in the educational version. On the standard report is working here. But what I do is basically I'll take the BOQ now. Instead of generating, what I do is I'll take a copy of this. Okay, I'll say copy. Muscat Hotel, copy. Now, there are certain things it will ask you. Should you include rate sheets? If I say yes, you will get even rate analysis. Include quantity sheet, that means your measurements. Now, for example, I take this off, right? Previous revision I don't have. And show blank lines. No, I don't need. So I can remove all blank lines. So what you can do is now I'll go back. Now I have selected a standard report here. And I say make a copy, not generate. I can just generate, then you have to live with the settings already given. But here I'm taking copy and then do editing. I'll take a copy of this, okay? And then include rate sheets. I'll say no, I don't want. Show blank lines. No, I don't want blank. Show empty groups. No, I don't want, like finishes I didn't do, so I don't want to see that. So zero values lines. No, I don't want. Now you can see, you can do bit of flexibility you have, correct? And go to next. Now you see, I have taken a copy of this. You can see here, copy. Right? I'll take a copy now. And I can do the editing now. Edit. Edit the report properties. Now, how do you want? Okay, first, let us take the review. First, let us take the preview. We'll double check on this and take a preview. Now this is how it will look like now. You can see here. My BOQ will look like now. I have taken a copy and I removed all the, what do you call, all the blank lines, unnecessary lines. And I have given
Yes.
auto code, right? A section A substructure will start with A and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I can do the lining up. But I have removed all the unnecessary lines, right? And then that is concrete work. And then I should be getting windows. That's all, right? So you all know still this is not up to the standard, right? You can see RIB, proper headings and all. So that will come by default. Now I'm not satisfied with this again. Then what I do is I need to do bit of editing here. You can see here. So I take a copy of that BOQ, copy, and then edit properties. The problem is with the education license, you don't have much of flexibility even for the editing. Right? You can give the name fine, folder substructure fine, data from level 1 to level 2 in the sense only the BOQ. If you need a measurement sheet also, you can include level 3 and the rates. So let us take that one just for you to understand. Include rate sheets. Let's say yes, quantity sheet, yes. Let's select it here. Okay, how do you want? How do you want your BOQ? Auto code you need, right? Then the description, then the quantity, then the unit, then the rate and total, isn't it? So that the if you don't need rate and total, you can remove this one from. You don't have to remove select that one. Total also I don't want. Let's say for example, right? Show blank lines, no. Show empty groups, no. Filter by code, whatever, and then you can take a preview. The report is empty and cannot be generated. Okay. Update. Right. I've taken copy. Now let's take a print out. So the data has not come. So I'll take BOQ and take copy. And in the process, I don't want any of this. Show blank lines, no, I don't want. Show empty groups, no, I don't want. Show zero value lines, I don't want that either. And next. So I have generated a report. Right, I'll take a print preview now. Yeah. But I know I'm not 100% satisfied with the report. I need to do a bit of editing, but the problem is I can't do much editing here because of the educational version. It does not allow you to edit much. Right? Edit report properties. Here you have something called grouping. Page layout you can do if you want in portrait you can do, header you can change if you want to left, right, columns, what kind of columns you need, and how do you need your footer, and all this can be done. Page layout, how do you want to see, right? Vertical lines you do want, show report border, right? So there are plenty of options given in this report properties dialog box. How do you want your columns auto code first, numbering, description, quantity, unit, rate, total, right? If you want descriptions, so unit before the quantity, you can do that, right? Unit before the quantity, I do up, it goes to unit here and take a print out. So preview. Now you can see I made unit first, the quantity second. So that is possible. You can interchange this and the rate. And if you don't want rate, you can do that as well. If you don't want rates here, right, you send it back. I don't want total also. And now you see report. Now you don't see rates and the subtotal. But you will see only the unit and quantity. So there's a bit of editing can be done using this report properties dialog box. Right? If you want to see show blank lines, you can just tick this one. Then you will see everything here. And then I'll put. You can select so many things. I'll come back to this one when you do the revisioning. Okay. Include rate sheets. I'll show you something. Include quantity sheets. Okay, now it does not select because I have to select level 3 and grouping one group per page if you want. Group header style always show as a group with heading. So there are a bit of settings that you can do here. And then page layout, if you need, let's say, paper size in A4, you can select. Right, margins, top, bottom, like in Excel, you can change. Header, how you want your header to be, and what kind of columns you need to have. Right, so all this and footer, how do you want your footer to be? And then you can have a look. Because of the educational version, certain functions are not allowed. That is the whole issue. Okay, but now it does not allow you to see the entire thing because I've selected now, for example, if you take this one, you can just take a printout, a preview, right? And then it does not do much of editing. That is the whole issue. Edit report properties, and this is your default. It will not allow you to do much of editing. Paper size, let's say 4. Now you can see even the rate analysis are included. You can see rate analysis also included because I have selected even the rate analysis to be included here. Can you remember here? Include rate sheets. I said yes. Right? From level 1 to level 2. Include quantity sheet. So bit of experiment to be done here. How do you want your report to look like? Right? So how do you want your page layout? So bit of experiment. You have to tick. So you have to untick certain things and then generate your preview, and then you finally take a printout. So that is how you produce your report. So this one you don't have much flexibility, unfortunately, but just to remind you what we did, it is report, print, workbook to report. Print, workbook to report. Then you have to select whatever the custom ones here. If you want to estimate, you can select this one and say generate a report. Or if you want the BOQ only, You select the BOQ because it is customs you can't do, standard one only you can do. You select the standard one, the BOQ, and say generate. Or you can take a copy. That's what exactly do. I did. You can see copy, and then after taking a copy, then you can do bit of editing. Edit report properties. But again, since this is educational version, you don't have much of flexibility in the report properties dialog box. All the functions are not working in the educational version. Therefore, 100% page settings cannot be done here. So when you get the commercial version, that won't be a problem. You can do some trial and errors and make sure that the report format is accepted to you by selecting different options here. And then before you take a printout, of course, you can take a preview and see how it will look like. Right. So that is how you print a report, and then you can include, if you want to include all the columns, you can do that. If you want to remove all the lines, unnecessary line, you can do that. The collection pages will come automatic and so on. And what is important is you don't have to do any page settings here in CostX. And also bit of editing is given. Default edit settings are given in the CostX. Right? Can you just practice this one here? And this is called reporting, webbook report. Right? Select one of them and take a copy. And then how do you select one of the standard ones, and you can generate first as it is. You can't do anything there much. You can take a printout, that's all, or print view. And we know we are not satisfied with this. Therefore, we take a copy of this, select this one and say copy. And you see here copy. And when you take a copy, then you can do bit of editing. How? Take a copy and then go to edit report property. From there, you can do bit of editing to the report. Right? It's a kind of a trial and error. You need to understand each settings when you make a printout. Right? Just be familiarized with this. I will explain this one again towards the end of the lectures. Just a second. Right, Tusit, what is this? Okay, why you can't do this? Because you have not selected a standard report. You can generate any custom report. You see this error message. This operation cannot be performed in an educational version of this product because you have selected custom report. For that, you have to select any standard report. So that's why I have used only the BOQ here because it is a standard, and then you can generate and preview. Okay, then you can do bit of editing. How? You can take a copy first, and then once you have made a copy, then you can do bit of editing here. So if you have a commercial license, you can do some trial and errors and make sure whatever the settings that you want, you can set. And you can generate various subcontractor comparison, estimate, right? And also the BOQ itself. So there are different templates already given in the system. And you can take a copy and then generate. You can generate the system report, or you can take a copy and then do whatever the editing that you want to do. I hope it is clear. So I'll move on to the next topic. Now, if you don't want any column data, you can untick them and say you can remove all the estimates. You can remove some of the data here if you want by using problem is this education version does not give you much flexibility to show some of the applications. Okay, so I'll move on to the next one. What is the balance? Right now, so we have taken a backup, okay, already. Now we go back to this one. I don't think we can add another another drawing to this. Let's see whether we can add an MEP drawing here, because I want to show you, I want you to understand how some of the MEP measurements can be done. So I'll show you how to do the counting. Let's say you have light fittings. So most of the MEP measurements will comprise of counting and then linear meter measurements. That's all, MEP. Right? Only air conditioning, of course, when you measure HVAC ducts and so on, the square meters will be involved, the surface area. Right? Otherwise, all the MEP measurements will be either numbers or linear meters, isn't it? Diameter wise. So it is, I would say, easier if you know the stuff, technical stuff. Uh, Taking measurement is easier in MEP than in civils, right? I like MEP measurements anyway. If you know the subject, that is easiest, right? When you take measurements in civil, of course, you need to think about 3D visual and understand how the areas and the volumes and so on. Right, so let us take a look on MEP measurements. Start with count. Okay, for that, let's see whether we can add a drawing. Right, so today we are going to look at MEP measurement. Okay, drawings, add drawings. We know add drawings, and let's see whether we can add one more drawing to here. If not, we'll take a backup. We have already taken a backup, and then we'll have to create another building. Let's see. We are in the architectural. We go to MEP now. Muscat Hotel. Electrical. Here. It's not the exact thing here. Can you upload this drawing 15107? Can you upload this drawing? You have to go to not Muscat Hotel folder now. There's something called electrical subfolder, and electrical. You have PDF. You have AutoCAD drawing. Let's see. We have go to drawings and electricals. Okay, this one here. I don't have the CAD drawing here for some reason. Okay, this one here. Can you add this drawing to CostX? How do you do that? Go to CostX and say drawings, add drawings, sorry. And it's not architectural, it is not within the Muscat Hotel. And there's a folder called electrical, but I don't see the CAD drawing here, so I need to select all files. And then you see CAD drawing here. I don't have AutoCAD in my computer, that's why you see this as a blank file here. Now I select this and say fine. Something is happening. Let me close this. In the educational version, they have limited the number of drawings that we can add. That could be one of the reasons. Failed to load drawing. Unsupported file format. Why it is? Why it is unsupported file? Okay, let's take a copy from 58. It's the same thing. Sorry. It cannot be. Okay, what I will do is, let's say, we can produce a new building. Yeah, let's say MEP. Okay. I'm going to create a new building called MEP and project is required, project is default. Right, now I'm going to add this, let's say I'm going to delete it again and reintroduce. Yeah. Meters. Name MEP. Project is default. You don't need building type project. Okay, based on, I will explain. Right. Now let me check by changing the file extension to DWG. AutoCAD drawings are DWG, isn't it? It goes as BAK files here. Now earlier I have uploaded AutoCAD file, but now problem is I can't upload some AutoCAD files. Due to some
I think that backup file will not work. When we open auto, it is creating auto. Can we put our CAD drawings to the WhatsApp group?
Yeah, you have a CAD drawing of this.
Yes.
You have this electrical.
Yes.
This one
yes.
here.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
please
You
do
can
so.
take.
For some reason, yeah, DWG, exactly. For some reason, my files have been converted into something called backup. Good. Let me check that. No, it is now it goes as a PDF file. Now I have downloaded this. You know
No,
what
it
happened?
it will show like that. But it will work when you refresh it. It will work.
Okay. This one, no?
Yes.
So let me copy this one into my for some reason. Like I'll take this as
Adobe Acrobat. Why it is?
yeah, it goes as Acrobat Reader, right? Cannot be the case.
No, cannot be.
So there is something wrong with my computer.
Yes.
Nothing to do with CostX. My computer doesn't show DWG files. Now you see, it is very funny. You can't see that.
The model, no? Correct, right?
it shows as a PDF, but
Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes it is happening.
okay, anyway. Okay, I just wanted to show you. Okay, can you upload this drawing? Sorry guys, it's not my fault. Something is happening in my computer. I don't see DWG files. Can you upload this drawing? So I have added two drawing. One is CAD drawing, the other one is PDF drawing. And I'm going to measure some socket outlet here. And there should be a description or the legend. Let us open you can see here the socket outlet, the legends, and those who have done MEP BOQ will know these sockets and light fittings, switches, everything will be measured in numbers. And light fittings will be measured in point wiring, right? As point wiring, the current, the wiring will be measured as point wiring. The light fittings and then all the accessories will be measured in numbers. So we'll measure one of these items here. We are going to measure one of these or maybe few items, like for example, 13 ampere switch socket outlet. We'll measure this symbol from this drawing. Okay, CAD drawing. I just wanted to show you how to do counting. Now let's say this symbol. What is this symbol? We'll go back to this. (13 ampere switched socket outlet). Yes. Right. So we'll measure that. And then this is switch socket outlet twin. This is twin outlet. This is twin means double. And this is single. So let us measure this. So in order to measure from this, we remember the symbol. When we have this one single and this is twin. Right. So let us then, we all know. So we don't have to calibrate this because we are not going to measure any lengths here. Unless we are going to measure some, what do you call, cabling. Cable wires. Right. Therefore, since you are going to count the numbers from here, I'm not going to calibrate. Otherwise, you need to calibrate this. Right. So let us create dimension groups. Otherwise, you can't measure. So dimension at dimension group. Let's create 13 ampere switched. What was? Yeah, switched socket outlet. (13 ampere switched socket outlet). Folder, let's say electrical. Electrical, you can say power. More power, right? Measurement type. Now not area. Now we will count. And default display also we need in count. Why we have used the area earlier when we counted the numbers for windows and doors? Because we needed to do the adjustments, deductions for openings. So that's why we have used area. That's all. Right. So switch socket outlet. I have created the dimension group called this one. Now we are going to count. What are you going to count? You are going to count this one here, right? This symbol here. And then the other one is switch socket outlet twin. Let us count this one from AutoCAD drawing, and this is basically this one, correct? Right. So we are going to measure this symbol. Now you can see this is very messy and you have symbols everywhere. You can see here. So you can use the previous techniques that we have used. You can remove unnecessary lines by using layers. You all know that, right? So if you want to see those only, you take those symbols here. So you took the symbols and then say drawings invert, correct? Now you see this. So use the same techniques, correct? You remove unnecessary lines by using invert function. How do you do that again? I'll show again all. And I was here. Right. So first I will go to the layers. While I am in the drawings tab, I will go to the layers. And then my cursor will be turning into a kind of a different color. But I want, okay, I click on the symbol I want to measure. And that normally disappears and then say, give me the invert. Okay. So you'll get everything. But now you can see there are plenty of, if you do a manual count, I don't know how long you will count, correct? Maybe few hours because you have different symbols. Now I will show you how to measure in one single click. Right? Now you are ready. Now you are ready to measure. You are here and this is your drawing. And you are going to measure this symbol, right? Single with this one, yeah. So how do you do that? You have already created the dimension group, fine. You are in the dimension group and you have removed unnecessary lines. And this is common for light fittings or anything that you are going to measure in numbers other than doors and windows. Doors and windows we'll measure in square meters, correct? But then when you put into the bill, you can get the count. But here, you count the numbers anyway, directly. Light fittings, switches. As far as the electrical is concerned, your 99% of the quantification will be comprising of counting. Electricals, right? ELV, CCTV. And you just count the numbers of the symbols given. Telephone, CCTV, telephone, access control, everything. Only the numbers. And if you know the symbol, legend, you just count. Okay, how to count? One by one. Traditionally, what you need to do is you are in the dimensions, right? Either point, yeah, let's say point mode and say 1, correct? And you can see 1, 2, correct? And you see a dot, 3. But how? 4, 5, 6. But that is going to be a nightmare, right? You have to do so many counting manually, and that's not going to work. So I put Control Z, Control Z, Control Z, undo. I can see the quantity 0. Instead of doing one by one, okay, whether it's line mode or point mode. Line mode also you can count, right? You can see line mode also you can count. You can see just click on the line, but normally point mode is the best. So Control Z, Control Z. Just a second. Right, so I'm going to show you how to count in bulk. So in other words, you can say bulk counting. You can just count one by one. That is, anyway, we know how to do that. So you just click on the point mode and just keep on, pressing each one, then you will get the count here. But that is not going to help here because you have so many items spreaded across the entire drawing. So we use something called auto count. Right. So what you need to do is, can you try with me? You have to press Control and Shift and then again Control and Shift together, and then move the cursor to one of this and click. You see 59 numbers. You see 59 numbers automatically count. Then you must be thinking, okay, can you try that first? I'll redo it. Control Z. It's not going to work that way here. You need to delete this. I'll redo it, okay? How do you do that? You keep your mouse here and then select the symbol that you want to measure. You want to measure this one. Control Shift together, Control Shift. Keep pressing these two and then you bring your mouse to one of these symbols and click. Control Shift, click. And that time you count only 4 numbers. But then in that case, there are symbols that has not been selected here. That is not because of CostX issue. That is the layer issue in the drawing. So if you have, now you can see whether you have captured everything. Obviously you have not. In this case, you try with another one also. Again, Control Shift this. Now you can see it became 63. Now you can see here. Now you just double check whether you have missed out few more things. Yes, because that could be in another layer. Again, try with this. Control Shift this. 64 it became. And there could be further like this. Control Shift this. You can see now it became 76. There could be something else. If the drawings has been done properly, this won't happen, okay? Then one click, it will capture everything. But here, since they are in different layers, probably, it will not capture everything together, but you have to just make sure that you have, okay, you have some more items like this. So Control is it's a different one, it seems, right? With the blocks have been detected on hidden layers. You want to wish to include this count also? Yes. There are hidden layers also that has been. So it is you can see it is a layer issue. Otherwise, so I have counted 78 numbers. There could be, okay, here 79. Is there anything that I have missed out? Okay, here. I think I have pretty much counted everything. This is a different one. If I have missed anything, yeah, yeah. Yeah, here I have missed out anything. One. So likewise, But if you have missed out anything, you can just manually add. That won't happen normally if the drawings have been prepared correctly. Okay, it will capture everything in one shot. Now, in my case, I have captured 82 numbers. There could be few more here and there. Right, can you try this out? I think that's it. Yeah, I have my count is 82. Just double check whether it is correct. How do you do that? You use the control shift, and then click. Right, and then you capture everything. Okay, that is 13 ampere switched socket outlet with this one. Can you measure this symbol now quickly? It is pretty easy when you count on CostX. Similar symbols can be captured. This is AutoCAD, by the way. This function will work with AutoCAD only. I will show you what happens in PDF. Right, when you have this kind of so much of, let's say, same item spreaded across a vast area, so this auto count would be very handy. So what you use is basically Control Shift and click. So it will capture all the similar items. But as a practice, you always double check whether you have captured everything because there could be some layer issue. So that's what exactly I did. So I added manually if the system has not captured. So I get 82. If someone is getting different number, let me know. That is 13 amperes socket outlets. We'll measure the next one. So counting is very simple, right? If you have the light fittings, very simple. I don't have light fittings for me to show you. These are not light fittings. It's the same thing. Malinda, you said you can't see any standard reports. That means your educational license does not allow any kind of report to be done. But we'll double check because all the others I think will have at least one or two standard reports. Your license, what do you call, version may be slightly different from others. That could be the reason. Right. So auto count is okay. We'll do another one. Has everyone got 82 or 83 or something like that? It has to be precise, by the way, but I can't see anything that I have not captured here yet. I may have missed one or two because of the layer issues. I'm getting 82, by the way. But I may have missed out one or two here and there. But that is not the mistake of CostX. That is the layer issue in the CostX, sorry, in the AutoCAD drawing. Right. So let us, are we okay? What is your number? Let me know what is your number. 83. Okay, good. 83. Then I have missed out one. Somewhere I have missed out one. Okay, I'll leave it that way. Good. How about others? Can you put the numbers? And this is one of the easiest way to count any light fitting, switches, CCTV cameras in AutoCAD, okay? It's very powerful CostX counting. Right. 84. More precise. But that means I have missed out two. Okay. Arun also 84. Good. That means I have missed out two. Somewhere there could be two items that I have not captured. Oh, here. Oh, no. Somewhere. Anyway, due to time limit, I'm not going to find it out. Now I'm going to count this one, double socket, okay? I'm going to count this number now. So for that, what I need to do, I can leave like that, but I can take a copy like what we did. I take a copy of dimension group and I'll say 13 ampere twin TWI twin switched socket outlet. I don't need copy dimension, folder is correct. Right, so I'm going to measure this twin now. This one here, okay. Right, very simple. Control Shift, click. 83 numbers in no time. So I need to double check whether I have, okay, I have missed out this. So Control Shift, this. I should have measured how many numbers. Can you also try with me? I may have missed out. Okay, yeah, few things I have missed out here. Yeah, still I have few things. Right, I should have captured everything now. If you need to count anything, use CostX. Very quick. Here. No, not that one. Sorry. I should be getting 115, 114. Again, randomly check whether I have missed out anything. If I select the entire folder, I will see everything now, both. So this is something else, okay? This is shaded. Right, I think pretty much covered. Okay, I have missed out this one here, yeah. So I can click this one and say Control Shift this. Yeah, I got 83, yeah, good. And I select both, then you can see missed out anything. Right, so I'll get, I'm getting 114. How about you guys? And just make sure I have missed out anything here. No, I think. All good, right? Right, so 114. Okay, how about you guys? You have got also, okay, 115 you got. Good, so I have missed out anything. Yeah, there are two answers, 115. My one is 114. That means I have missed out any as one somewhere. Right. We'll take another one. We'll measure this one here. Outlet. This one. Outlet. Any random one we'll check. So there's one here. Okay, here. Unswitched spur outlet. Okay. 13 ampere. Unswitched spur outlet. Let's measure that as well. Take a copy. Right. So what we are going to measure is this one here, okay? That is shaded. Yeah, this one. No, this one. It's very rare, it seems. Okay, this one, yes. This one. So Control Shift, click. I've got only one. Can you try it? This drawing may not be the proper drawing, right? So when you practice during the middle of the week, can you take any light fittings or any other electrical drawing, small power, properly drawn in layers, and then do the counting? You can see how fast you can do. Okay. So this is not the perfect drawing. So I can see only one number. Okay, can you try? Yeah, I have. Okay, now. Just double check whether you get only one number of this symbol. Everyone should be getting the same number if the drawings are correct because of this issue. Maybe hidden layers are there. So that's why you get slightly different numbers, but still you can double check when you complete your counting. Right, I've got only one of this. I don't know whether okay, one good. Tosita also got one of this nature. Right now, let's say you do manual measurements for some reason, and there could be a possibility of duplicating things, right? The same symbol probably could be calculated twice. So how do you check whether you have duplicated items? Here, when you keep your cursor here, mouse, then you will see all in one go. Obviously, you can change the colors and see whether you have two colors for the same item. That is one way to check, right? The other way is you can check duplicates in drawings. Um, Dimensions, and then you can see here overlaps. So you have not used these functions before, overlaps. If you want to see whether you have duplicated certain items. Probably you have measured this symbol maybe for 2 items here. Yes, when you do the automatic count, it won't happen. But sometimes we have added manually, correct? Because you saw sometimes everything has not been captured in auto count. Therefore, you have added manually. In that process, there's a possibility that one item could be duplicated. So how do you double check is, of course, now keep the cursor on the small power folder. That means you have captured everything here, all the items, rather than capturing like this, right? You can capture the entire folder here and say, show me the overlaps. Now you can see nothing is overlapped. Nothing. Right. Now I'm going to do something and show you how to show the overlap. Now, for example, I have forget about this. Now I have measured single switch outlet, right? Okay, let's say I have measured this, correct? Here. So these are the single outlets. And let's say by mistake, I have measured this one also as a single. So how do you do that now? I'm going to intentionally include this one as a 0.1. I'll manually add to single. Okay. Right. I have manually add to single. That's why 83 became 84. I'll take another one. Okay, so instead of single one, let's say I have measured double one, and this one also I have measured double. Okay, now 85. Now what I will do is go to small power and show overlaps. I should see two numbers overlap. I should see from a different symbol. I should see from yellow line First of all, let us find out which one we have duplicated. I can't see. I go to dimensions and the last two, I think, right? So this one. Okay, this one we have duplicated. So let us remove that. The last two. So remember, we have duplicated. Okay, we are back to normal. Right. For that, let me measure this one. Single. Single. So I have measured these two for the twin outlets. Right now, I'll keep this one. Say, show me the overlap. I should be seeing some yellow patches, yellow dots, but that does not show here. You see, can you try your one and see some yellow dots to show duplicated items? Let me close this, okay? And then open it again. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, something like that. Exactly. You should see this kind of yellow item if that is duplicated. Let me do it again. Some reason it does not show. Normally, when you do the auto count, that does not happen. But when you do manual, of course, auto count will happen. Then how do you calculate is you can see click with the dimension measure on the drawings overlap each other to avoid double measurement. The overlapping parts of the dimensions are displayed virtually on the screen in yellow marking. Yellow making it clear to see which dimension need attention. Right here, I don't see anything, but actually speaking, you should see two yellow dots. Right, everybody has got this. Maybe due to some issue in my software, it happens in the educational version. Not all the education versions are same. There could be some small issues. Right, so Kajan has got it. Susit has got it. You duplicate one or two items and then click on the full folder here. And let's say small power where we have all three items captured and say you show me the overlaps. Then you should see two dots. If you have two items duplicated, you will see two dots here. depending on how you have duplicated. Everyone is getting? How about others? So this could happen during manual counting. Auto counting, it doesn't. Good, Malinda has got it. So some issue with my software. Last time also it happened. So how do you remove this software overlap in there? Then you know if this is only twin switch, you go to single one, right? And remove this single one, and you know which dot has been yellow. So you can go to the measurements and then remove from here. If it is related to, let's say, this one, you just go to that one and delete it from here. You can correct any measurements duplicated. So you can see light fittings and switches and whatever you can quickly measure. Let me check anything from any light fittings I have got from another project.
Pictures.
Yeah.
I think what this Kajan say is correct. We have to select by line mode. Point mode, it won't work.
Not necessarily.
But point
Because
mode by one also not in by one also not working under point mode. When I select line mode, then
no,
it work.
because then there's an issue with the software itself because you don't know. I mean, you cannot depend on the mode if you have a duplicated item.
Right.
It
Should
should
be
work with
right.
both modes. Yeah.
Yes, yes. But in this soft version, I think
Probably, yeah, because of the education, probably, and that
yes.
happened last time also. But the principle is, if you have a commercial version, you can try out in your office. Do this auto counting in two ways, but one or two items you can duplicate. And then when you click on the overlap, selecting the entire folder, then you can see, I will double check, right? Next time also I will double check and let you know why it is not working. Well, last time it did not work, but the previous version I had, education version, it worked. So there are few issues with the education version also. But let me check, let me double check, and if I get to know next time, I will explain it again. The overlapping part, okay? Duplication. But it cannot be on the line of mode. I mean, line of measurement, line of point mode, because
Yes, yes. It should be
whatever
both.
duplicated has to be indicated. Yes, otherwise it will be a mistake. Right. So let me also add another drawing. Sorry. You can see there are light fittings, fans and all. Yeah, let's say this is okay. We'll check this one. Okay. So what we'll do is we'll measure the single gang switch from this drawing. I just want to show you, that's all. For that, I will go to layers and say this one here and say invert. Right, I'll see on this. Now you can see how quickly we can do. And then go to dimensions. And I have to create dimension group now. Saying one gang switch. Insert, right control, shift. Sorry, I have to be here. Dimension.
Square meter.
Yeah. Yeah, I have not created count here. That's good. Count. Yeah, update. You're right. So that's why you don't get the values. So control, shift, count. Now it will work. One click. 128. Job done. You see? Right, let's try with this one also with this drawing. We'll count this one as a single switch. Right, so this one and say point mode. Yeah, 129. Okay, so I'll select it does not show as well. Overlap. Here it shows as yellow, isn't it? This could be, I know. I think this is because of the color. You can see here it goes yellow because we have selected both green. That could be one of the reason why it is not showing in yellow. Anyway, I will sort this out. I will show you how to do that again. That function should work, but now I will remove this. Right. These are the light fittings. Now you, sorry, switches. If you want to see light fittings, so all, let's say this fan, right? You want to measure this fan. So go to layers and then invert. Okay. Right. Now create a dimension group called fans. Fans is has to be numbers, not area. Count. We'll select different color. Insert. Okay, now we'll measure the fans. Okay. Control Shift, one click. 160 fans. Simple as that. 160 fans. In no time, you can count everything. You can see here all the fans. So this is pretty easy when it comes to counting, right? And then you have to drag and drop, simple as that. Whatever the light fittings or the switches or electrical light fittings, fans, CCTV, you name it. Right? You have to just drag and drop. And also, we measure the cabling part, we measure in point wiring. So that is also very easy because that is also numbers equivalent to the number of light fittings and switches and so on. Right. So this is called bulk counting. In AutoCAD drawing, you can do. Right. You can't do the same function with PDF drawing, which I will explain to you next week. So try and practice this because this is very important aspect in MEP measurements. Right. So I don't have to measure ELV now because I have shown you how to count anything, right? But we don't normally count number of windows and doors because we need to capture some other information like the area. Otherwise, you can also count the doors and numbers this way. D1, how many numbers? D2, how many numbers? D3. Whatever the item that you need to count, you can just do bulk counting. Control Shift and click. And that will cover probably 50% of the quantification because MEP electrical is concerned and you can apply to bathroom fittings, electrical, ELV, sometimes manholes. If you have the same symbol, you can use it. But we know manholes will be slightly different because the invert level will be different, even though the same symbol is there. Otherwise, if you have to count anything external works also, any light fittings externally, landscaping light fittings or whatever, it's a matter of, counting, control, shift and click. But that is with AutoCAD, right? So you can't do this one with PDF, and PDF you have a different method. So I'll explain that method next week. So it's kind of an image matching, right? You have to give an image of a particular item, and then you can match that image with the rest of the drawing. And in that way also you can count the numbers in PDF or any image. AutoCAD is the easiest one. It can capture very quickly. Now you see, to count 160 fans, it took about maybe 3 seconds, that's all. Right, so in any electrical drawing, to measure all these items, light fitting, let's say you have 25 types of light fitting. You have switches, let's say 8 number of switches and CCTV. Everything can be counted probably more less than half an hour. It's a matter of creating dimension groups, that's all. You don't duplicate when you do bulk counting, but when you do manual counting, there could be a situation where by mistake you have done double counting. For that, of course, you can use the function of overlap. Right, so I will stop here. We'll continue from here. next week. Okay, you have any questions before I call it a day? Right. Yeah, session is too long. We are giving more actually, right? The problem is I can't stop in the halfway. So bear with me, please. Right. All right, guys. So let's stop here and then we will continue from here the next day. So only few things now we need to cover. Of course, 3D measurements and then drawing revisioning and drawing comparison. And then
Reinforcement.
there's something called reinforcement. Yeah, reinforcement and pipe measurements. Those are easy. Those are easy. We'll continue. We'll cover those things next week. Okay. All right,
Okay,
guys.
thank you.
Then I'll stop here and good night to all of you. Right. Take care.
Mm.